Hello, you're listening to Hugo Talks, Crypto Shills. The Truther movement is full of crypto shills, cryptocurrency, named after the word encryption, which means secret or something that is hidden. Of course, crypt is also a hidden place for the dead, yeah? Now, this is a good example of how the Hegelian dialectic works in the media and the alt media, how the establishment and their CO network work together in order to herd people where they want them to go. Here we see Kim.com Twitter account. This guy, some form of internet entrepreneur, has been featured extensively in the mainstream media. Big red flag there. Everything that is featured over and over again in the media is part of the system, in my opinion. And this account has over 1 million followers. No shadow banning for this fella. Typical type of account connected to all the other CO networks. I've talked about all of this before, and of course here we see him shilling for crypto. So this is a good example of how these big accounts use the Hegelian dialectic. So of course this account sets itself up, they frame themselves as going against the establishment. Once they get this position and loads of followers, they tweet things like this. Never use central bank crypto. Only use decentralized non-government crypto. They will try to ban it. Disobey. Right? So we have an MSM, right? A mainstream media, fake stream media featured blue tick account who is not shadow banned. Quite the opposite. Is pushed by the algorithm, has been allowed to amass over 1 million followers. And he just so happens to be shilling for cryptocurrencies. Now what does this tell you? It tells you do not use any crypto whatsoever. That's what it tells you. This is how the Hegelian dialectic works. Governments and the media talk about bringing in a CBDC. Then the controlled opposition, also in the same social media outlets, say, oh no, we must create our own cryptocurrency because we don't want to use the government's, whatever you do. But the end result of the Hegelian dialectic is to digitally herd as many as possible into any cryptocurrency, into any digital currency. They want to get as many people into digital currencies as possible. That's what these two opposing controlled forces are doing. That's the strategy. Don't use any crypto. Don't listen to the clowns who will appear in the comments on this or elsewhere, and say, cryptocurrencies are the only way we can circumnavigate the system and take the power back. No, it's just going to make life more difficult for you individually later on. They may be well-meaning, they may be compromised and connected to it financially. They may be wittingly trying to deceive, maybe unwittingly. And although prophecy, I believe, will play out, your individual conclusion in all of this is not, because you have free will. Do you see how it works? Look at all of the alternative platforms, the social media platforms that have suddenly materialized since 2020. All the alternative social media platforms, so many of them are shilling cryptocurrencies, their own cryptocurrencies. Remember what I said yesterday? You had all of these CO network big names get fake banned on places like Twitter and YouTube. At the start of the pandemic, they then got their followers to follow them over onto these new alternative platforms, therefore segregating the audience, dividing them so the establishment could then work on them, dividing those who would willingly go along with the mainstream media narrative with those who were resistant, with those who rightfully questioned what is going on. But these platforms were created to hold those resistant people and followers and then work on them psychologically. And one of the things they do is shill and promote cryptocurrencies to the resistant ones that were segregated away. Look at Gab. They have Gab Pay. Odyssey, they have their own cryptocurrency. Minds, they have their own cryptocurrency. I could go on. We've got InfoWars, we've got Steve Bannon, we've got all kinds of influencers. They're all shilling for crypto, yeah? They segregated the audience to find out who the most resistant people were within society, to find out who was going to be resistant to the New World Order. Then, once they are segregated, they then work on that specific group with their army of influencers, specifically on those platforms. And one of the agendas that they push is getting them to accept cryptocurrencies. Notice how those who follow the mainstream media narrative, those people who are not following the alternative media, notice how they are not getting cryptocurrency pushed on them that much. That's because they took the jib jab, and therefore the establishment believe that if they took the jib jab without questioning it, then they will probably just roll over and accept a CBDC or a digital currency. That's why the alternative crowd get the crypto shield at them 24/7. That's why the platforms have their own. They are warming you up, grooming the more dissentful in society, conditioning them to accept a digital currency because they have identified that portion of society as being the most likely resistant to it. That's why they use tactics like this to get them to accept digital currencies, to make them choose it. They use the Hegelian dialectic to do it, as in this case, basically framing it as, beware, government are trying to control you with CBDC. Don't let that happen. Get another form of cryptocurrency instead to battle against them. No, you don't get any crypto. Do you see how it works? This is how they train the dissenters into adopting a digital currency, stop using cash, and therefore, when they eventually introduce a one world currency, in order to bring about the mark, all of these digital currencies will be amalgamated into one. I think people have seriously underestimated the enemy and how devious they are. Now, I can say this all day long, and it's not going to stop prophecy from playing out. That's what I believe, and that is how I see it unfolding. But even so, yours and mine journey in all of this is not determined. And these people, these platforms, are specifically targeting the more resistant in society, the more switched on, in order to get you to start using digital currencies, because they are trying to coerce you down the road towards you accepting eventually the mark of the beast. And if they can get the resistant to accept any digital currency now, then later it will make it more difficult or more awkward for them to turn it down. And refusing the mark is what it's all about, isn't it? As always, thanks for listening. Come and subscribe to hugotalks.com, the website, to get notifications of all videos when I upload them, and I'll see you later.